Welcome to After Wine School, the podcast that demystifies wine and makes it approachable for everyone. Join Keith Wallace and Alana Zerbe, two of the nation's leading wine experts, as they uncork everything you need to know about wine, from picking the right bottle to mastering unforgettable food and wine pairings. This isn't about stuffy lectures or confusing jargon. It's about enjoying wine the way it's meant to be. So grab a glass and let's dive in. Don't forget to subscribe to After Wine School today.
Welcome to the podcast. Yet again, here we are. It is After School, the wine podcast. Today's topic is Chardonnay versus the world. Chardonnay versus the haters. This is going to be a lot of fun for me. We're also going to, at the end of the podcast, we are going to taste an awesome Chardonnay. This one is actually from Southern Burgundy.
Yep.
Alana, do you want to show it off?
I would love to, Keith. It's the Domaine Puy Wenzel from the Macron.
Awesome.
So who are we? My name's Alana Zerbe. I am the Director of Education at the Wine School of Philadelphia. And this is...
I'm Keith Wallace. I am actually the founder of the Wine School of Philadelphia. I can even say that correctly. The Wine School of Philadelphia.
But you know what really matters is that we say our sponsor very clearly, which is the National Wine School, the premier online education program for aspiring sommeliers. And also, they've asked that we give a nice disclaimer. The opinions that we share with you are wholly our own and do not reflect the opinions or viewpoints of the National Wine School or the Wine School of Philadelphia or any other business we may be affiliated with. It's just us. It's just After School Dish with Keith and Alana.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Basically, the note was, Keith talks a lot of shit. Can you make him stop?
Legal does not want to deal with Keith.
They never have. No. They don't. If I was anybody else in my position, they'd be very happy. But they would be also unemployed.
Sure. But you bring a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
And you bring a lot of love for Chardonnay.
Okay, that's true. Here's the thing. I love it in a way. So let's just put context here. I grew up in the 60s. Well, I was born in 69, so let's not say that. But, a kid in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm growing up. It's the 80s.
It's a wee Keith.
It's a little Keith, right? Little. Keith. So just imagine, I'm still wearing a suit.
Your head is this huge.
Oh, it's same size. But I'm like a weeble. I can't hold my head up. I have to carry it around on its own head cot. Carrying it around. And I had this beard. And so just picture this, but I was in diapers until I was 10. So just have that picture. Everyone just lost their lunch. No, I'm just a normal kid. I was just a normal kid. I played football. I was in the Boy Scouts. I was fine. Growing up at this point and then like becoming a chef, and then at this time learning about food and wine, growing up into my early teens, I started in the restaurant industry very early, trying wines very early. But then, at this time, Chardonnay was everywhere. Everyone loved Chardonnay. Chardonnay was the one wine that everyone could agree on, specifically white Burgundy. But California, these big buttery styles were coming in vogue as well. This is when brie was like the best thing you ever had.
Oh, baked brie.
Yeah, brie and croûte. Oh my God. That is, to this day, though, if I ever want anybody to love me, I will give them brie and croûte with a little bit of jam.
I will never turn it down.
No.
Never.
No. I have actually, there's a dude who is this mean old dude from West Virginia. And I gave him, and I've never seen him happy. And I actually saw a smile on his face. It looked like rictus because you never saw it on that mean old dude's face. But anyways. Yeah. There you go. But anyways, yeah. So this is the setting. And so when I became a winemaker, it was still very much in vogue. And I love, Chardonnay has everything a winemaker wants. If there's a
Really?
yeah, because you can do so many things with it.
Okay.
It really shows off your talent.
Ah,
Really shows
okay.
off how good you are because everything from flavor to textures to any element that's there is really introduced by the winemaker. It
Hmm.
really is. I described Chardonnay as the tofu of the wine world.
Okay. All right.
Okay, but you think about it. But if you are great, if you are
Tofu can be great.
oh, absolutely
Yeah.
you think about mapo tofu and dishes like
Sure.
that, and so many great Asian dishes, Chinese dishes specifically, Szechuan hyper specifically, or start with the most bland
That's
element and create wonderful flavors.
yeah.
So as a winemaker, I love making Chardonnay. Now, I also if I just don't want to think about varietal fingerprints, if I don't want to think about too deeply about my wine and just have this moment of just pure luxury, that's what I want.
Really?
That's what I really want, that because it just allows me to sink into maker's skill and or even just fall into that big buttery dumb happy place.
But I'm going to point something out, Keith. And
Yeah.
now this is basically you and Chardonnay against the world.
Yes.
Not really, but
Pretty close though these days.
I don't have that imprint in my mind. This is a luxury. This is such a avenue for expression for creative winemakers. That's a different era. I don't see you drinking on your off time and your after school time. You're not drinking a lot of Chardonnay. I have to be honest.
Okay.
You should tell the people that despite everything you've just said,
Yeah. Here's the thing. So
are you drinking in private?
yes. It's the bottle or glass, usually the glass or two, that I am having in my office after teaching.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, I don't go in there. So.
No, nobody goes in there for good reason. It is just my office is just like a
Okay.
3x5 tiny little nobody no one needs to go in there.
Okay.
It's basically my autism and 3
Large screens.
screens. And right behind me is all of our storage for all our spirits. So it's just booze and computer. And then little old me in there, happy as can be,
Yeah.
with my Chardonnay.
Yes.
I will. That's what I'm having. I'm not having it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm not being slightly a super taster. I'm not having to think about any bitter compounds or tannins, nothing. Just pure, utter. Yeah, and oftentimes winemakers, that's where they just let themselves just express. I'm just going to throw as much buttery, oaky deliciousness as possible. Make it as unctuous and fun. And it's where you don't have to be serious, where you can just show off your skills. It's great Chardonnay is like doing a wheelie. For a winemaker is, look at me, woo! And as they skid away.
And Americans drink a lot of Chardonnay.
Oh,
it's hugely popular still.
Oh, yeah. It is. But here's the thing. Most people, because in the late 90s, early aughts, this term started showing up. And it did start showing up at the peak of Chardonnay. That was actually like in 99, 98. That was already here. And the term is ABC.
Oh, anything but Chardonnay.
There we are.
Yep.
Anything but Chardonnay. And that has been a movement. And largely things like this, or when people say, I don't want to drink any no fucking Merlot. Like when there's a phrase and people are being told, consumers are being told, this may not be the most fancy of wines.
Yes.
And because people are really worried about, am I drinking something that people will think of me as being a rube or by sophisticated? If I'm drinking saying I love Chardonnay, what do people think of you?
Yes.
And that's really important, is that more and more people aren't drinking Chardonnay because it's not seen as being fancy enough. And that's at least what I've been seeing.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I got into wine when ABC was a slogan that you would hear. And so probably naturally, I wasn't as curious about it as I would have been if I had a different viewpoint. So maybe, I probably didn't. We were starting behind the line instead of.
Yeah, and I think that's good for a lot of things. It makes people want to go reach out finding more things.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, what they did was everyone who was drinking Chardonnay now drinks Sauvignon Blanc
Mm-hmm.
because that's which now is not cool anymore. So I don't know what people are going to go to next because Pinot Grigio was never cool in this country. Oh my God, I can make a Pinot Grigio joke and everyone in class will laugh.
Yes.
Which is funny because
Yes.
I do use a box Pinot Grigio for cleaning out glasses and things. Yeah.
But
After Wine School is proudly supported by the National Wine School, the gold standard in professional wine certifications. Whether you're dreaming of a career in the wine industry or just eager to take your wine knowledge to the next level, the National Wine School has you covered. Their programs are trusted, rigorous, and designed for aspiring wine pros like you. Visit wineschool.us to learn more and start your journey today.
here's the danger, and here's what we do in wine, is we love something and then we hate it. And we're human, so there are trends that come and go.
That's true.
But it is terrible that people are afraid to like certain things. When you're starting out, you just don't know.
Right.
So this was something, when I met you,
Uh-huh.
I had this background where nobody drank Chardonnay. It was, to be honest, all red wine is what people drank. So just drinking white wine was a big move for me. And Chardonnay, definitely. But yeah, I had to accept from you that this was acceptable. And my taste is such, it's not what I gravitate to,
Right.
but I know that it's respectable. It's absolutely something that
Oh.
people obsess over.
Oh, absolutely. And because it's funny, have you ever had it where like somebody in class trying to be fancy, they said they hate Chardonnay, and then
Yeah. And then they try it, a
Yeah.
really good one that we have.
and they're like, oh, yeah, and they can admit they're wrong. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
But also sometimes there's that person who says they hate Chardonnay, and then they say, my favorite wine is Montrachet, or my favorite wine is from the Macon. And you're like, that's Chardonnay. You probably treat them much nicer than I do. I'm always like, bro, that's Chardonnay.
It is always a bro.
It is.
Sadly. I hate to admit that, but yeah. Yeah. So for me, I would say the biggest issue I have with Chardonnay done in that Cali style
Yes.
is that I don't know when to drink it. It's not food friendly with all the oak and the higher
Yeah.
alcohol. For me, it doesn't play well with things that I typically eat.
Okay, so here, you have to think of that big California style. Let's define this.
Yes.
So California style is going to be really intensely oak. So that flavors like cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla are going to be really prevalent. It's going to go through probably almost full malolactic fermentation. So meaning that you are going to have a very distinct buttery note, but you're also going to have, it's going to be creamy.
Yes.
So like you're going to have this, and it's most likely, because in California, it's most likely going to be hitting that 15% alcohol. So it's going to be really, almost really full-bodied and unctuous. So we layer on that. We layer on creamy vanilla. There's going to be a caramel flavor as well from the oak, merging with the goodness in there as well. And you're going to have this wonderful cooked apple and cinnamon and spices and creaminess. It's basically just apple pie.
Yeah.
It's a slice of apple pie.
Yeah.
And now, you like apple pie, right?
Not really.
Oh my God.
It's not, by far, it is not my favorite. Now, I do love the tart tatin.
Yeah. Oh, you are such a snob. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Okay. So what we're changing
not
it.
saying anything
We're
else.
changing this. We're changing this. This is Keith, America. Fuck yeah, with Keith.
And the traders with Alana, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, this makes sense though, because I love those flavors. I grew up eating my grandmother's apple pie,
Right.
and it was like all from scratch and all these flavors. And it is. So I drink Chardonnay in moments that I would eat an apple pie, like a slice of apple
Okay.
pie. That's where it is. It's like a big scoop of vanilla.
Decadent.
It
It's
is.
indulgent, yeah.
It's indulgent. So it's going to be, in fact, after I teach a class, or
Mhm.
at night instead of having like a big monster red wine like a Zin.
Mhm.
It's the wine that you can enjoy and just turn your brain off. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And it is that. It is for me. Those Cali Chardonnays are dessert. But then when you get the better ones, like when you really get ones that are artistically made, maybe like the way I love making them is actually you fermenting them in oak,
Mm.
but then not letting them go through mallow so that and then aging it in barrel again so that you have all these wonderful green spicy notes, but bright freshness. Like I love that. I love making wine like that. But yeah, that's rare.
Mm.
And I can understand why people don't enjoy it, but think of it as apple pie. And it's great because, to be honest, I don't eat dessert that much anymore.
Yeah,
I
that's true.
really don't. I'm at that age where it's not. So I am, instead of having that glass of big buttery Chardonnay, actually does. I have an apple pie shaped a hole in my heart, and it fills it.
Okay, let's fill that apple pie shaped hole in your heart with. We do have some delicious
We do.
Chardonnay.
But here's the thing: is this is my even more favorite. I enjoy even more. This is actually white Burgundy, which I truly love, and we already showed them the label, right? I don't know. But yeah, here. But let me just show it again. Here, this time I'll do it. Woohoo! There we go. Showing that to the folks who are watching, and for those of you who are listening.
Thank you.
Handing Alana her glass. I'm gonna grab my glass. Cheers, folks. And first off, the color of this wine, the color is just perfect and golden. And when I'm swirling in my glass, I can see the viscousness. It actually is, yeah, it's swirling in a way that is, and this is actually pretty. Surprisingly, it's probably a little high in alcohol for white Burgundy.
But this is the South. This is Southern Burgundy.
Exactly. Yep. And I want to, and that color, that nice, rich golden hue, that is telling me that one, it might have some skin contact slightly, because Chardonnay, when harvested exactly perfectly, it's brownish. It's really ugly. When Chardonnay turns ugly, it's ready to be harvested. It's weird. It's very weird. But then we also have, but also that's telling me there's a lot of oak in that too, that nice golden hue. But when you stick your nose in it, what are you getting?
I do get big ripe apples.
Oh, yes. Big ripe apple, like crunchy apples. There's a floral note in there too. Oh, okay. You know what? I know what you would call that. I would just say floral, but I know that is more of an apple blossom note. And I learned that from you. I learned that phrase from you. Yeah, because there is a very distinct.
It's white. It's in the white floral family.
Yes.
But it's got that orchard fruit character.
Oh, yeah. And right off the bat, I'm not getting that much notes. It's not intensely cinnamon or nutmeg, but there is a subtle allspice in the background, which I really, and which is they're probably not using much new oak, or they're using like second season, third season oak to give it just just a little bit of flavor.
And it's going to be French oak being in.
Oh, of course, it's always French oak. Everything is, unless what you're smelling smells like the dumbest version of oak ever, it's going to be French oak. Like American oak just smells dumb. I love it because that's, you put your whiskey in American oak, you put your wine in French. That's one of my hard lines. Unless I'm teaching students, and if I'm people who aren't, like, they're brand new, I'll use I'll use American oak because that hides all kinds of sins. Like it just all that chocolate and not, but.
There's lots of minerality on this as well.
Oh, you're right. There really is. That's wonderful. There's a little bit of crushed oyster shell in there too. That's really nice. All right, I want to taste this.
Let's do it.
And warning.
Misophonia warning.
Yeah.
Slurping ahead.
I'm a professional.
Oh, I do.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Because you don't just have you have the orchard fruit, you have your apple, but what else is going on here?
You also have acid.
Yes. They're playing with acid, right? It's bright fresh. It's actually medium to high acid here.
Yes.
And it's actually medium bodied, but it's really, it's balanced. But then what's underneath that? What's around that? So you have that orchard fruit, and then you have just the slightest bit of creamy underneath. You don't notice it. You have this wonderful, elegant, I said that little bit of caramel creeping in, a little floral notes going through, rich,
I'm
complex.
gonna share a little bit of my 80s childhood reference.
Oh,
It's a little bit of a creamsicle, a little bit of an orange creamsicle.
okay.
I'm sorry to say
Yeah.
that I love orange creamsicle, and it's just a little bit.
Oh, what's wrong with creamsicles?
I feel like you would hate creamsicle.
No, see, I grew up with sherbet, and so creamsicle. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. But so I remember the first time I had a creamsicle. It was such an upgrade to what I do.
I'm so sorry to
Yeah.
hear that.
Well, it is what it is.
But this is stunning.
So,
This is beautiful.
So yeah, in throughout the Macon, it's such a great place. So many wine regions that are up and coming, and really, because they're really competing with a little bit in the north, like things like Montrachet. They're competing with them at a much lower price point, and things like the Puy-Foussay, this town. There's so many other amazing wine regions here that are, and some are just called, and I really love this area for really good values and a lot of very traditional winemaking. That's really important. We see some of the, like Domaine Jouan, who does great work, high end, low end, middle of the road. So this is one of those negotiants that I really like.
Yeah.
They're producing some exceptional wines that are actually reasonably priced, which is, when you talk about Burgundy, it's very rare.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So have I?
The
No, you're
wine
not.
is-
You're
no,
not.
no,
You're never
this-
gonna love Chardonnay like I do.
I'm never gonna love it like you do. No, absolutely not. I don't have an apple pie shaped hole in my heart. Yeah, I just don't. But this was wonderful, and I think that was a lot of fun.
This is delicious. Oh my God. I'm staying in Chardonnay.
Okay.
I'm gonna repeat this podcast over and over again. You don't
I'll
even have
help
to.
you finish this.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay. All right. It was great having you.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Share this. Subscribe. Whatever. Tell people, please.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks for spending time with us on After Wine School. If you enjoyed today's episode, hit subscribe so you never miss out on more wine wisdom, tips, and laughs. Until next time, raise your glass, savor the moment, and cheers to you.